Hey, it's Kyle, 9.9 Comics, Chris and Kyle. My good friend Jake Estrada.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Creator of Demon Donuts and Volkas. Don't forget the movie coming out soon. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be good.
Hi, welcome to 9.9 Comics with Chris and Kyle.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Chris, and today we'll be talking about comics getting released on July 18th, 2018.
Correct. I'm going to start it out today with Marvel Comics. It's going to be a good day. Marvel Comics with Tony Stark, Iron Man #2, written by Dan Slott. And art by Valerio Schiti and cover art by Alexander Lozano. It's a person's name, Chris. Grow up. Stark Realities. Tony has been holding back an enormous secret since his return, and there's only one person on Earth he trusts with it: James Rhodes, aka Rhodey. This will change everything. A strange new development for Jocasta, the return of the Gauntlet, and the arrival of Tony Stark's new rival, Sunset Bane, which and
it's B-A-I-N.
Yeah, not B-A-N-E. All this and the power of the Manticore, the most powerful assault vehicle in the Marvel Universe. So it's going to be a pretty big issue. It's back order, out of stock. It's I guarantee you there's going to be a second print of this guy next week. And yes, I mean,
it's an Iron Man comic that is doing well.
Who would have guessed? I've been an Iron Man fan my entire life, and they've never done well.
And historically, Iron Man comics, have never really done very well.
Yeah, it's hard to relate to him. He's a rich, like hyper intelligent alcoholic. So it's like
there's certain issues that are important that do well, but overall, the comic run isn't as widely collectible as other titles.
Right. Moving on, also out of Marvel Comics, we have Life of Captain Marvel, #1 of 5. This is a big deal, guys. This is written by Margaret Stoll, art by Carlos Pacheco, and cover art by Julian Totino Tedesco. I like his pizza rolls.
I do too. The ones with the hot sauce, apparently.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Tabasco, right? Is
Yeah,
what you said?
yeah. Totino's Tabasco, whatever. The definitive origin of Captain Marvel, guys. That's right. This is going to be a retcon of the Captain Marvel. It's probably just going to be a retelling / retcon hybrid story. Little on this. Carol Danvers was just a girl from the Boston suburbs who loved science and the Red Sox until a chance encounter with a Kree hero gave her incredible superpowers. Now she's a leader in the Avengers and the commander of Alpha Flight. But what if there were more to the story? When crippling anxiety attacks put her on the sidelines in the middle of a fight, Carol finds herself reliving memories of a life she thought was far behind her. You can't outrun where you're from, and sometimes you have to go home again. But there are skeletons in Captain Marvel's closet, and what she discovers will change her entire world. Written by best-selling author Margaret Stoll and drawn by fan-favorite comics veteran Carlos Pacheco, this is the true origin of Captain Marvel. And every single time they say Captain Marvel, I see
Shazam!
Shazam!
I'm always like, you mean when he got the powers from the witch?
Right.
Then
Yeah, Billy Batson.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is also a Marvel comic that is back order out of stock. So there's going to be most guaranteed going to be a second print of this guy soon, and it's the retcon of the main of the roots of Captain Marvel, and especially with the movie coming out with her going to be in the new Avengers.
Yeah,
and the Captain Marvel movie coming out.
It's sounding like they're trying to tie in her movie backstory to her comic backstory, which isn't a bad thing. So we'll see what happens.
Also, speaking of the Avengers Infinity War, Infinity Countdown number 5 of 5.
Thank
separate,
God.
Separate but the same kind of. Okay.
I'm excited for
the finale to the Infinity Countdown. The countdown concludes. The battle for infinity among the stars comes to its dramatic conclusion, and all the stones are in the place to bring Infinity Wars to Earth. Halo theme song. I don't know why I'm doing
Steve
that.
Vai, why not, right?
Yeah, whatever. Then moving into Image Comics, we have Stellar number 2. Stellar did very well. Stellar number 1 when it was released a few weeks ago. All Stellar wanted was a quiet life during peacetime, but now she has to face off against her former allies. As the battles rage across broken worlds. So, fighting friends, broken worlds, things get crazy in the Stellar universe.
Sounds like Star Wars.
Kind of. Also out of Image Comics comes Magic Order number 2. This is the comic that's gonna have a Netflix series come out. The Dark Force is targeting the Magic Order, killing off its members one by one. Time is running out, and the death toll is rising. Will Gabriel return to the fold to save his family and the world from the forces of evil? This is, of course, written by Mark Miller, or Millar, however you want to say it. And so, it's going to be some quality material. And, of course, with the Netflix series coming out, it'll raise its value, hopefully. Also, out of Image Comics, we have Aphrodite 5, number 1. That's a little confusing, but written by Brian Hill and cover art by Jeff Spokes. Series premiere. In the near future, Los Angeles is a city on the brink of evolution, struggling with a new wave of terror fueled by black market technology. Enter Aphrodite 5, a fugitive from her masters. Seeking individuality and purpose, she is the bleeding edge of biomechanics and LA's best hope against a new enemy, one that seeks to become a god among machines. So,
one machine wants to destroy the city, another has come to save it. Only one will survive. There can only be one!
Reminds me a little bit of Ghost in the Shell.
It reminds me a lot of it of a blend between two comic runs that I really enjoy, so I'm looking forward to it. Being Lazarus and God Complex.
Yes, it does sound a little bit like God Complex. And then also out of Image Comics, the number 1 that came out recently did very well. The Weatherman number 2 by Jody Leap and cover art by Nathan Block. Jody Leap is of course the shirtless bear fighter writer. Storm clouds and bounty hunters gather as Agent Cross takes local Martian weatherman and noodle bowl aficionado Nathan Bright to task for his alleged role in murdering the Earth. But Nathan may just be the last hope of preventing a second attack, one that could wipe humanity out for good. So things, I don't know if any of you read Weatherman number 1. Last page was kind of messed up. Still have nightmares about it. But I hope the second one doesn't have more kind of that stuff, some old Yeller kind of stuff. You'll have to read it.
Yeah, I might just pick up a second print after this. And,
some old Yeller stuff, but a lot worse than Old Yeller. In fact, Old Yeller I would show to my kids over reading this. This is bad. It's really gruesome. Moving on, we have Rat Queen Special Neon Static one-shot out of Image Comics. This is, of course, a spin-off from the Rat Queen's comic, written by Curtis J. Wiebe and cover art by Will Kirkby. Strap yourselves in for a ride to an alternate and futuristic world where the Rat Queens take to the neon streets of Palisade as an elite team of shadow operatives. An anonymous fiend creeps through the dark web, stealing identities and blackmailing innocent civilians for cold, hard gold yen. And only the queens can stop him. A cyberpunk take on the Rat Queens from Curtis J. Wiebe and Will Kirkby. So it's a little twist on an original story that we've talked about before.
Okay, moving on from there, we get into DC Comics, with the end of an amazing run, and if you didn't pick up every issue of this run, I feel sorry for you. Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman, 6 of 6. This has been phenomenal artwork, great storytelling. I know a lot of people in the shop loved reading it, loved the artwork in it, loved the cover art. It's just been a great run. So I'm not going to get into too much more detail outside of that because it is the end. You should already know about it. Moving on from there into IDW Publishing, a comic that I found out about recently and I'm intrigued with. Euthanauts, #1. Written by Teenie Howard and art and cover art by Nick Robles. Summary of this one: death is like outer space, a seemingly unknowable, terrifying blackness that yields beautiful discoveries and truths if only you've got the right kind of rocket ship. Talia Rosewood has had a lifelong obsession with death, keeping her from living her life to the fullest. Mercy Wolf has a brain tumor the size of a billiard ball, and a need for a new recruit before her next journey begins. Inigo Hanover is a reluctant tether to the world beyond, seeking to continue a cycle that exploration would halt. Go toward the light, then go beyond. Euthanauts. So, it looks fun. The covers are just the right amount of creepy.
Yeah.
The variant cover is really good. I actually found out about this book from the back of a comic, and I was like, what is this? Uh-oh. Also out of IDW, a fan favorite for the people in the shop, Star Trek TNG, Terra Incognita #1, out of IDW. So, obviously, it's a Star Trek The Next Generation book. On the heels of the blockbuster Through the Mirror miniseries comes a brand new Next Generation series featuring untold tales of Captain Jean-Luc Picard and the crew of the USS Enterprise D, Galaxy class. Following their clash with their villainous doubles from the Mirror universe, the Enterprise crew returns to business as usual. Little realizing the serpent in their midst, one of their own has been replaced. What does Mirror Barclay want? And what's to become of his Prime Universe counterpart? That's kind of a spoiler. Like, one of them's been replaced, and then they're just like, it's Mirror Barclay.
Yeah. It was kind of easy to tell because Barclay
and Mirror Barclay, nothing alike, but still. From the creative forces behind Star Trek The Next Generation, Mirror Broken, and Star Trek Discovery, The Light of Callus, takes place during Star Trek The Next Generation's critically acclaimed 4th season. Nice. Featuring covers by Mirror Broken co-creator and designer J.K. Woodward, and the unexpected twist ending of Through the Mirror continues. So, I'm excited for this. I love these Next Generation Star Trek comics that started with Mirror Broken.
Right.
Moving on from there into Titan, we had Dead Life #1. It's a 1 of 3. It looks to be a fun book because who doesn't love zombies? That's right, zombies. The worldwide zombie epidemic has arrived when Steven unknowingly drinks from a cursed chalice he finds in his grandparents' attic. He has no idea that his actions will have dire consequences, turning the world into an undead nightmare. So it's an interesting new take on how a zombie plague starts. More mystical instead of viral.
It's kind of different
from
what happened when I drank out of my grandparents' cursed chalice. Chalice?
Yeah, chapel. Cursed chapel.
Whole
church. Drink out of it. Moving on from there into Aftershock Comics, probably my favorite publisher these days. Clan Killers #1, kickoff of a new series. Like the demented stepchild of Game of Thrones, Braveheart, and Mark Millar's Kick-Ass, Sean Lewis from Betrothed, The Few, and Coyotes brings reader into an ancient Ireland filled with clans, mystics, warriors, and monsters of mythic proportion. Mythic. Yeah, Finola has a problem. Her father is losing his mind. God Country, anyone? All the old king cares about is power, and Finola thinks power is stupid. Finola thinks her vicious older sisters are stupid. Finola thinks the royal court is, you guessed it, stupid. And above all, she thinks the clans across the country are, exactly, stupid. So she makes a plan with her good friend Cillian. Let's kill all the clans, and then we go for Dad. Filled with countless twists and turns, Clan Killers promises to be a wild ride. It sounds like it's going to be fun.
That's pretty cool.
And from artists Antonio Fuso, James Bond, G.I. Joe, and Sean Lewis comes a revenge thriller that had to be told at Aftershock. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, it's a really good concept.
I've loved basically everything Aftershock's been putting out. Baby Teeth, Brothers Dracula, Pestilence, Dark Ark.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all of it is just horrific, grade A material.
Right.
Then we have out of Archie Comics Publications, a Batman book. Archie meets Batman 66, number 1. 2 iconic comic book characters meet up for the first time ever in this historic crossover miniseries. A battle in Gotham City extends its reach into Riverdale, with Mr. Lodge becoming enemy number 1 of the dynamic duo. Now it's up to Veronica to recruit some help and place a call to the Batcave. So this is exciting. It's not the first time Archie characters have been involved with characters from the Batman universe, but for Archie and Batman to meet for the first time.
Is this modern day Archie? And if so, is Jughead still a werewolf?
I think this is old Archie. I
Okay.
don't know. It seems like it'd be old Archie.
Things are getting
'cause they're
crazy in the Archie universe right now.
Yeah, especially with like the Riverdale show and all that. It's so confusing. But I think it's old Archie because it is meeting Batman 66.
Yeah.
So it would make more sense for it to be old
Right.
Archie.
That's what I'd guess.
But
it would
we'll
be
see.
cool to
We'll
have
find out.
Jughead werewolf
It's
fight.
definitely a comic that you should buy because Archie comics are some of the most, oddly enough, highly collectible comic runs. And with it being the first issue where Archie is meeting Batman,
Old Batman, yeah.
it's a huge deal. Like, I cannot stress that enough. It is a huge deal. Moving on from there into Bliss on Tap Publishing. Train 8, Zombie Express. More zombie books.
zombies.
This is number 2 of 3. Train 8 speeds through the wilds of northern Idaho. What does that even mean? The potato fields?
I guess so.
Barreling through its scheduled stops, confused and panicked, a group of surviving passengers have barricaded themselves into the last observation car. Unable to contact the engine cab, the train conductor plans to lead a volunteer group to the front of the train. If they can stop the train, they will survive this nightmare. Or so they think. Looks fun. Zombies on a train.
Yeah.
Now we just need zombies on a train.
It sounds a lot like a mixture of The Walking Dead and this one. There's this one post-apocalyptic movie where everyone lived. I think Christian Bale might have been in it. Everyone lived on a train, and they had to fight. Like the upper class was in the front of the train, and the lower class in the back of the train. And the lower class was fed like bugs mushed into bricks, and they had to fight their way to the. It was crazy.
I've never seen
No,
that. It's hilarious.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Anyway, it is time for the 919 no-brainer.
And by the power of Grayskull, Injustice versus the Masters of the Universe. That's right. It's a DC He-Man, like DC Universe He-Man crossover.
DC man.
And besides that being freaking awesome, its art is Freddie Williams Jr. So if you've read any of the Batman TMNT, He-Man Thundercats, you know.
Yeah.
You know. So believing He-Man and the Masters of the Universe defeated, a robotic imposter has seized control of Eternia, but not for long. After freeing his kingdom from this strong man's rule, Prince Adam learns not everyone is pleased to see the pretender deposed, but Adam knows the value of freedom. So when heroes from another dimension ask his aid in deposing a superhero turned dictator, he agrees. Teaming up with Batman against the Superman of the Injustice universe, He-Man and his new allies face dangerous and familiar enemies in a battle where no world is safe.
Good to
I
hear
am
my boys
so
are on the same team, man.
ready for Superman
to get his butt
eat
kicked.
the sword like straight through his throat.
Right.
I hate Superman and I love He-Man.
And you know what? He-Man's sword is magic, so you know what that means.
Superman's gonna eat it.
Eat it.
Eat
Anyway.
All right. Well, that pretty much I think wraps it up. Make sure to pick up these wonderful comics that we've listed next
Correct.
Wednesday, especially here at the shop.
Always
Primarily here at
always
the shop.
remember to pick up the 9.9 no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's
We don't spend hours debating, deliberating, and mad at each other because we might not all agree on it.
yeah. But we do always come to a conclusion, and we're right like 98% of the time.
And I think it's because of the process that we go through to decide on the no-brainer. It's not a willy-nilly, like, oh, I really like this one. Because if
There are
it
more
was,
variables.
it would have been the Star Trek comic. But obviously that's not the no-brainer.
Right. But with that, we thank you for watching, and thank you for liking and subscribing. Always remember to come back every week for your updated comic pull list, and don't miss Collector's Choice that I'm going to be releasing here soon when I actually edit it. But have a good one, guys.
See you next time.
Okay.
I'll give you this week. It's just like, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? I don't know anymore.